All right, Mr. D-Roy. I think we might be dialed in. I'm hoping.
We sure tried. Adam has been IT Adam this morning.
Adam's IT job is not that great, so we're praying that this is going to get across to our listeners in a good way. It's great to see you again this morning for Deathpiles and Taxes.
It's great to be seen. We came in early. We were going to knock out a bunch, and it just sometimes you get that curveball thrown at you, and you got to figure it out, I guess.
I watched Trouble with the Curve on an airplane flight I took a little while ago, so I am having trouble with that curveball this thing's throwing at us.
Took a few airplane flights. Adam went for his little residency in the big city. Well, the outside skirts of the big city.
Yes.
You're pretty much a resident over there.
I would love to live in New Jersey.
Said no one ever.
Oh, there's millions of people
That's
that live
true.
there.
It's not. I'm just having fun.
Oh, I know. You're just trying to scuttle puff our good listeners in New Jersey, huh?
I'm hoping there's some there that will start hate listening and go back and binge everything just to say that Derek's a moron.
That doesn't take very many binge episodes to get to.
But we need more people. We need to. Here's the thing. We haven't been as consistent as we'd like to be. We both know that. My computer that I edit these on at home is like making weird sounds. I can still burn like CD-ROMs and stuff, so it's about out. It'll just turn itself on and off. So I need to raise enough people just hate listening that they'll listen to the ads, and that I'll be able to buy a computer. That's the whole goal.
I think what we have, Derek, is for those if this is episode number 1, we surely appreciate it.
If anyone just stumbled upon and decided this was the one to start at.
Number 1 is today's. Our quality is usually better. We're looking at our stuff. We've been doing this. Dare I say, is this year? We're almost turning into year 7.
We're probably outdated on a few things.
We're very outdated. We've moved downstairs into a different studio because we haven't recorded lately. Our equipment wasn't exactly functioning correctly. So we're back at it. We're trying to make this work right.
We probably have people that used to come in and say, "Oh wow, look at this, like state of the art. Oh, well, this is like a radio studio." To now they come in, they're like, "Oh, okay, you guys got this off some like yard sale somewhere," or,
That's cute. Yeah. My 7-year-old has better equipment than you do.
Yeah. Oh, he has a TikTok content page.
Yeah. So, well, Derek, it's going to be kind of a weird. We're trying to step back into our equipment, step back into our groove of things. How you been doing, buddy? I know that it's been a while. You've been doing some really, really cool collecting of your tickets, your wrestling items. The Hulkster has passed.
Yeah, since we recorded, which, I mean, if you go back in some of the earlier episodes, I'm talking about collecting my wrestling stuff, and I'm talking about getting cards and like Adam said, tickets, all that kind of stuff. But I'm talking about getting stuff signed, and I said, Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan are still alive. That's like the Babe Ruth and Mickey Mantle. You can still go and get these things. You can still go to these shows. You can still find these things fairly cheap. Unfortunately, that's not the way it is right now, or ever will be again. Hulk Hogan passed, as we record, like a month or so ago.
Yeah.
And, it sucks. It's part of getting old. Captain America or like Spider-Man, those kind of guys never die. But like real life people,
they die.
Play characters, they pass away, unfortunately. But I did have a pretty good collection. I was kind of preparing for that day. I didn't think it would be so soon, but I was able to do quite well on selling some of the items, or moving some of the items. I sold a few things today. Still going pretty strong. The weird thing is his market seems to be still going up. There's still some record sales. Things that I should have purchased, but just seemed like outrageous at the time, but was accessible. Now we're going for like just insane amount. I mean, there's an Upper Deck PMG card that they gave to all their employees, and there's like 125 of these made, and I'd seen them float around for a while. I'm like, that would be really cool to have, but they were going for like $300 to $500 the last couple of years. And I'm like, man, that'd be really cool to have. But like $300-500 for a card and whatever. There was a PSA 10, which of course is a perfect card. They're not all going to be 10s. That sold last couple days for like over $40,000. So just things like that. There's opportunities right now for whatever you're into or whatever that you might be able to. I mean, I don't know that I'd ever sell that card if you had it, but just things like that, opportunities there.
I'm going to bring something up that I'm not sure if you're aware of yet. have you been doing eBay Live?
No, because, well, okay, go ahead. No, I have not. I'm aware that it exists, but I have not been doing it.
So again, we're in this weird phase of we're in it, but we're not really in it, but we're in it. Derek was on the Whatnots. I mean, you were starting on that 2 years ago?
Yeah.
You were in it. You were in it early.
I'll still occasionally do a show every now and again, but it's just so flooded that it's not. I don't know. It's for me putting things on eBay is long term. You get higher prices but Whatnot is a very good opportunity if you have a lot to move through or you want to stream or do that. You got that live sales pitch, but yeah.
So I was just, while we talk, I occasionally multitask. I was going to check out some of your Hogan stuff on the Johnny Lingo store. And I opened up eBay, and right in the top left, it says eBay Live. Red dot, you know me, I like the color red. So I pull it up, and then there you go. And I've got eBay Live, and I'm watching eBay Live just like the Whatnots.
Yeah, here's the thing with eBay is a big ship, and when you try to turn a big ship or go a different direction, sometimes it takes a while, and you get many different answers from different people. There's never really the clear captain and who's controlling the ship sometimes. So eBay Live, they rolled out about the same time as Whatnot started to take off, and they said, hey, we're going to do this. Sellers can come on. This is the direction we're going to head, which looked like a Whatnot killer at the time. But I don't know if the policies and things have changed. I haven't looked into it since then, but it was like they were hand selecting, people that were selling quite a large dollar amount on eBay to be on that platform.
All I can see is eBay Live now.
Yeah.
And I've got literally of the entire platform to choose from. There's about 12 stores.
Yeah, it's very, very selective, very, very hard to get into, at least at this point, which I kind of like. I mean, when I first got on Whatnot, that was one of the things you had to go through a pretty good vetting process.
Oh, yeah.
They had to come look at past sales in my stores, my online content, who I was, kind of so on and so forth, make sure that you could afford to run. They did some digging, and you had to do some training shows about, hey, this is how we operate, and this is how things go, and a lot of people were getting declined, and so I got in there, and at that time I was doing wrestling, and there was, maybe 20 people doing wrestling on that whole thing, so it was pretty lucrative. It was pretty good opportunity, but since then, they opened the floodgates, and now, I mean,
there's
anybody.
Thousands.
Which is good and bad, because you kind of flood the market. Now you got to pay to promote your stuff and get up to, if you got the personality, I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just saying it just doesn't seem worth, you'll sit on there and if you get a couple sales an hour for $4 or $5, it's just not worth your time.
Yeah. Or
if you're not getting the product or allocation, all that kind of thing goes into it. But no, eBay Live, I think, is a great idea. Hopefully it opens up maybe the sellers that have been there long term with better feedback scores or however they want to verify. But live selling is a stream, is the way that things are going. I like to have my foot in both worlds a little bit. A lot of times, if you're on the Whatnot or the eBay Live, you can potentially get something for a deal.
Yeah.
And, just flip it. Or the same thing, though, you get a couple people in a bidding war. I remember a guy paid $100 for a pack of wrestling cards unopened because I had a bidding war, some guys in the room that wanted it. And, I mean, it was great for me. There's no way they made their money back on that pack. I would remember if that happened.
Yes, you would.
But then the same, Adam, I had a pack of cards that had an Ultimate Warrior 1 of 1. First, it was the Prism, when the Prisms came out. And, I mean, that was, I don't even know how much that card went for, but I sold the pack for $14 or something like that. So somebody got
a good one. They got a good one.
There's opportunities out there all the time, but I needed to ask you about, you said, remind me about Apple when we were talking about a week or so ago. And I know we're on limited time.
No, we'll get it today.
I don't want to miss out on that story because I know it's going to be a good one.
We'll get in on that today. Well, Derek, you know me. I like to talk to people, and I get lots of opportunities to talk with different people about different aspect of life. That's the best part I've come to realize. The older you get, the more you realize a lot of us are the same, but a lot of us have really unique circumstances, things that no one else knows about. I'm trying to find it right here. There is a book. I'm going to definitely recommend this because it's what part of my story comes in. But I heard it right from the author's mouth. That's the best part.
The horse, as it were?
It's called Guiding Your Raft. guy. His name is Dino Ybarra.
Oh, Dino.
Do you know Dino?
I don't know Dino, but I was talking about turning up a boat just a minute ago.
And
so.
by it's Dano. But I like to call it Dino. It's Dano.
Well, you're friends.
We're friends. We spent 12 hours talking nonstop. Well, it was more probably like 7 and then a little bit there. So I had the opportunity to go help my daughter in our local ecclesiastical organization. They had a camp out, and they have
I went camping with some church gals.
Yes. So as leaders, there's a camp that they have us go to, and they'll make sure that they're protected. That it's up in the wilderness, so they have a guard shack that kind of goes in and out. Anyway, so I've done it for a couple of different years. You go just stay up for the night, make sure. I was the trash man. It was really good. I'm glad I took my old truck. Apparently, like 200 kids and leaders, they create a lot of trash. So I had to go around, drive around the loop, put all the trash in the back of my truck. But while I was there, I was talking to this guy. He's my neighbor. He lives a couple streets over from me.
Your new neighbor. Since we record, Adam has moved.
Old neighbor. This is an old neighbor.
Oh, okay.
So he's technically lives closer to you now than I live to him.
Good for him.
But Dano we had talking about different, where he grew up. He lived in the Silicon Valley for a while. Kind of figuring out background stuff. And sure enough, he worked for Steve Jobs.
Sure enough.
And I'm like, okay, well, what do you mean? He was like, well, tell me what happened. He's like, well, kind of Apple had the falling out. They came back. There's lots of, problems going back and forth. And one of the first things when he came back, they were trying to find out why Apple stuff wasn't selling. I mean, right now, kids will think Apple's the only thing that exists. Obviously, there are other, Androids. There are other things, PCs, which we have right now, which right now I really wish I had an Apple running this fine machinery that we have.
Maybe Dano can hook you up.
Maybe Dano could. But back in, when Apple was really kind of getting started, the Apple Macintosh.
Macintosh.
There you go. The Macintosh.
Macintosh, like the Apple Macintosh.
Yes, the Apple Macintosh computer. Nobody wanted it. It was a piece of junk. Like, it was just...
That's why our school system got a bunch of...
Point made. Thank you very much, D-Roy. Yeah, that's what we grew up on in schools. It was the crappiest piece of equipment that all you could do is you could take in the disc, plug it in, and play Oregon Trail on the green screen.
Did you need anything more?
No, that's all you got. Like, I literally don't remember anything else that the Apple Macintosh computer was good for.
Certainly wasn't doing any research or typing reports.
No, it was not. And that's it. Like, we're not old. I mean, we're in our young, mid-40s-ish. Not quite there yet. But
That's who you ask.
that's what there was available, and that's what was in schools. And it wasn't like it was a huge seller. So one of Dano's jobs is he had to find out why people weren't buying Apple Macintosh stuff. That was what Steve Jobs basically asked him to do. So he would go around to the different stores, because back then we still had stores. The internet, Al Gore's infancy child still hadn't really blossomed yet, so you couldn't really buy anything on the interwebs. So you actually had to go to a physical store.
Brick and mortar, as they were.
Yes, and the Apple Macintosh was usually on the bottom shelf because they weren't selling it because there was no reason for them to sell it. It was a pile of junk, and nobody wanted somebody come in and telling them, hey, I just spent $4,000 on a computer and it really doesn't work well.
And also at the time, IBM and Microsoft.
Yeah.
That was household name brand.
Oh, yes.
That was computing.
Yes.
So
they were.
If you went to the store, that was what everybody that you were familiar with that had a computer had one of these operating systems, and that was.
And that's just what it was. And everything again was in its infancy, and as it continued to grow and grow and grow, you had to find out what worked and what didn't work. So that was what my buddy Dano from. I got to make sure I get the Guiding Your Raft.
Maybe we should have Dano come in.
I know I already thought about it. I really did. I think it'd be really awesome. We got to make sure we get our equipment working the correct way.
We got to make sure things are running first.
But then this is, I'm not trying to give you an aha moment, but this is really, when you look in the minds of some people, it's like, man, these people are amazing. So that's what Steve Jobs basically envisioned him with. Like, they're not buying our printers. They're not buying any of our stuff. Why are they not buying our stuff? So Dano did his research. He'd go in. He'd be a secret shopper to go find out why their stuff wasn't selling. And he basically came back to him and says, well, here's my findings. this is the problem. You go into a store and no one they don't care to sell our stuff. It's not good stuff. It's on the bottom shelf. It doesn't work well. And we've got to find a different way for us to sell our stuff. That's where the Genius Bar came in. He basically said, you're right. We have to sell our own stuff. We can't let anyone else sell it. We need to sell it in the way that we want to. And he's like, that's kind of where the whole, and he said he just sat down and just like, the guy was just going. He couldn't stop. His whole mind, everything. And that's why he talked about the Genius Bar, the wide open spaces, everything. And that's kind of the whole idea.
That's when the script flipped, as it were.
Exactly. At that moment is when Steve Jobs realized, hey, we're doing this backwards. We can't let other people tell people what they want. We have to tell people what we want them to want.
And that turned out to be
pretty successful. So
Dano retired because Steve Jobs felt so good he gave him millions of dollars, and now he lives in Santa, where we live, Utah.
There's obviously some things that happen, a good relationship. Obviously, I wanted to talk continually more and more and more about it, but that's my Apple story. I know the moment that the Genius Bar, that we still understand the way the Apple stores are laid out, I know how that moment was conceived.
You know how she went down. Well, that's kind of going back to like the streaming world and everything, going back to the wrestling. The Vince McMahon, which controversial figure, no doubt, but there was a spot where he had in his mind that he was going to control everything and have a cable channel that just showed all wrestling all the time. Mm-hmm. And this was before you did the buy on demand and that kind of a thing.
Yes.
So he started buying up all these tape collections from these other places that went out of business or used to be wrestling, whatever, in the 80s. For pennies on the dollar, he just went in and said, I would like to buy all of your old wrestling tapes to these people that had inherited them and just had them sitting there collecting dust and thought these were worthless. So they're like, sure, here you go. And they made a pretty good payday. It turned out that you get all that together, you have a digital collection. Now you can put it on a streaming platform, and it's kind of like the ESPN Classics, all that kind of thing. People were like, who wants to watch the old Super Bowls? Who wants to watch old baseball games?
Me.
Adam does. So the same thing. These people were kind of ahead of the curve, got together and said, hey man, we'll buy all the rights to these for media, for streaming online. And people are like, well, that doesn't exist. Digital content, you can still sell all the DVDs of this that you want. You can still own it in this platform. I just want the digital rights.
Yep.
And they got them for just super cheap, crazy amount cheap. And then, you turn it into like a Genius Bar, or you sell the content to whoever that wants to stream it now on, Netflix or all these places, and they just made a lot of money. So
it's all about being smarter. So, Derek, I want to promise to our listeners, we appreciate you listening. So we're gonna make a comeback. We're getting some things in order. We're gonna make sure that we have our equipment dialed in. I think we're okay-ish. I know I sound better, and I usually look better than Derek too. But right now,
well, if they had the YouTube, we'd let them be the judge.
Yeah, you're probably right. But that being said, my friend D. Roy, there are two things in life that are for certain, and that would be
Deathpiles and taxes.
We're well within our rights to use this song. We're aware that preaching copyright is wrong. With lots of dedication, we've researched the legislation, and this music has nowhere else it belongs. Derek is the king of Deathpiles, and Adam does his taxes all the while. Deathpiles and taxes, selling stuff online in between. Deathpiles and taxes, no copyright infringement to be seen. Derek is the king of Deathpiles, and Adam does his taxes all the while. Deathpiles and taxes, selling stuff online in between. Deathpiles and taxes, no copyright infringement.